So I was just given roughly 24 hours notice that we have to vacate this property. So, as you know, I guess 3 years ago, we stopped being nomads, traveling around the country. And one of the reasons was because we couldn't stay in a location very long. We could only stay in a location typically 2 weeks, sometimes a little longer depending on where you're at and what they were doing. Like down in Florida, we could stay 3 months through deer hunting season. But that was one of the big stressors, was always having to move. So I guess now we'll just have to leave all this stuff behind. And then we decided that we were going to live off grid. And we were in Arizona when we did that, near Flagstaff in the Coconino National Forest. And it was pretty exciting. Ended up going back to Texas before we found this place. Came back to Missouri and bought it. Stayed at Mom's house for about a month while we collected the supplies we needed: solar panels, well pump, wiring. Built the base to the truck camper. And then we got here. I think it was March when we got here. It was actually kind of warm day when we got here, a warm week. So we was able to get the truck camper off onto the new base. And that's where we stayed until we built the tiny house. Got the solar panels hooked up and got the well running. And it was pretty stressful trying to get it all taken care of. And then all of a sudden the pandemic happened. But during the pandemic, we decided to go ahead and build the tiny house, and was able to do that for $5,000. So we got the property for $4,200 and got the house for $5,000. Everything kind of settled down. We got some chickens and things just kind of settled down. Yeah, we just pilfered around until we figured out what we were really doing here, and now it's just kind of routine. I have to take care of chickens maybe twice a day. And then Carolyn's son, I guess back in March, April time frame, I don't remember when exactly. February? Maybe it was February. I guess it was February. He needed a place to stay. Him and his other half were having some issues. So he came here. We bought that camper, that trailer, just for about $200 more than what we really wanted to pay for a trailer. And it's a lot bigger than what we wanted. We'd rather had something that we could pull with our little 4-cylinder truck. But it was kind of an emergency, so we got that thing here. The guy brought it over for us. I'd still like to get it moved up the hill, but I don't know if we're ever going to move it, to be honest. We'll see. Maybe if things work out, we'll get it moved, but Carolyn's already got plans for it for when he moves out. And then I had to figure out how to get him water and solar and electric and all that stuff. So we decided we was going to hook him up to solar. And this has been a pretty much non-stop project since he got here, trying to get more electricity. So first problem we had was he wanted to bring in his TV and Xbox, I think is what it's called. That required pure sine wave electricity, and we only had modified, so we had to get a pure sine wave inverter. I forget, I don't remember if we had the actual no, we had the pure sine wave, but it was only 1,000 watts, so we ended up getting a 2,000 watt pure sine wave inverter so we could run both places. Turned out that he doesn't really run a lot of electricity until he's running the air conditioner. So we had to figure out how to get enough electricity to run the air conditioner. At that same time, my generator died. So we bought a little small generator because I thought I fixed it. Well, it turned out I didn't, but I already bought the small one. So the small one's not really big enough to run the houses by itself. It can run the battery chargers in the camper. So essentially what we do, if we need a lot of electricity, say on a cloudy day, we can hook the battery chargers up to the battery, plug the battery chargers into the generator, and run the inverter. So the inverter changes DC electricity into AC electricity. So let's say we want to run the well pump, plug the well pump into the inverter. The battery chargers are charging the batteries. It's not really enough electricity from the battery chargers to charge it, so it's actually withdrawing energy from the batteries also. And then the well pump is done, shut the well pump off, and you continue to charge the batteries. So we can do that with the air conditioner, and if he wants to run air conditioning at night, that's what he can do. But during the day, I've been trying to figure out, like on a nice sunny day like this, how to get more electricity from the solar panels so he doesn't have to run the generator during the day on sunny days. Trying to save cost, because his big goal has been is save money, get a car, get a better job, because he got a job 3 days after he got here. It was pretty quick, but he wanted to get a better one. But he also needed a better car in order to do that. So stay at this job for a while and then get that other job. After he gets a car, then he gets that other job, and then he can go get an apartment. What I ended up doing was getting 2 extra solar panels and a new charge controller. And I've talked about this quite a bit, and I'm almost finished with the project. Just got all the components I need. I just had to get them all put together. So I was getting these little terminal clamps, or whatever you want to call them, I don't know. And I got all my wires. Yesterday I showed you, and I'll put an up next box to that video, where I was assembling the wire to these clamps or terminal posts or whatever you want to call them. So got all 16 of those done. Now I'm going to bring the batteries over here. Ended up I got 2 extra solar panels and a charge controller, and that made a huge difference. So even after he leaves, we'll be able to run the air conditioner for ourselves if we ever felt the need to. We've got a lot of electricity, but the key is now we can run the well pump. Today I had to run it quite a bit. Carolyn, of course, you know, we got to get all the laundry caught up before we get out of here. So Carolyn's been doing laundry, and I've been filling tubs and getting water, and Carolyn's son's been getting water and getting the bathtub filled up. So I've been running the well quite a bit. The well runs 800 watts. The well runs 800 watts. Well, I've got 1200 watts of solar, so unless the sun's way up in the sky and, you know, it doesn't make quite enough electricity, so you want to make sure you got the batteries charging back up after you shut the well off. And with 2 charge controllers now, I'm getting all the amps that the solar panels can provide into the batteries, whereas before I was only getting 25 amps. So now I'm getting about 50. Huge difference, makes all the difference in the world. It's been pretty exciting to me. You know, the solar panels are kind of my hobby. And, you know, I've been really excited about getting all those batteries over here and getting it all wired up correctly, because in the camper I ran out of room. We were living in the camper when I started adding batteries. I've kind of explained the story before, but I'll briefly touch on it here. So instead of having the batteries kind of fill in all together, whereas you have a negative way over here on this battery and a positive way over here on this battery, I've got negative and positive, and they just kind of fill over from battery to battery to battery. Well, that's a very inefficient way to charge your batteries. And I intended to explain this in the video when I actually get this hooked up. Get these moved over here, the batteries would charge much more efficiently and discharge much more efficiently. So I was really looking forward to it. But things have been progressing a little bit faster than I expected. So Carolyn's son has found a new place to live, and things looks like it's going to be pretty good for him. So tomorrow I have to take him to his new place. He doesn't have a good running car yet, so we're going to get him over there, and then eventually we'll be able to get that car over there. I think I want to tow it over there. I don't think I want to just drive it over there. And even if we did drive it over there, I would still have to follow him. That was one option, is we follow him, because we're just not sure the car can make it. But now he'll be closer to town where he can walk and do things and get to his new job. So this is all pretty exciting, but it's really going to put a damper on things I wanted to get done here in the next few days. So this is going to be an all-day trip. Well, I say all day, 4 or 5 hours. So we got to get everything packed up, all his stuff packed up and out of here. But he found out yesterday, last night, about this opportunity, so he wanted to jump right on it. Another thing I did was I recently ordered a laser sight for my 22. The other day I showed you a new 22 my dad just gave me. Yeah, and it's really nice, but I've told you my right eye is in pretty bad shape. And I was practicing how to shoot the gun with my left hand, and I did really well. But all things considered, it wasn't really all that great. I mean, it just wasn't comfortable, and it took time. So I mean, if I really wanted to shoot, let's say a rabbit, for example, it would take me forever to get set up so I can aim it correctly. So I've decided I'm going to try to put a laser sight on it and see if I can shoot the 22 without having to sight it up. I can just put the laser on the target and see how that does. It's a cheap laser. Apparently it's got really good reviews on Amazon, so apparently it's a pretty nice laser. It's green. Green works better in the daylight, and I'm not trying to get out very far, 50 yards at most, and it says it can handle 50 yards pretty well. So I'm going to give all this a try, I guess next week. Get the batteries moved over here, get the 22 lined up. These are all the things I kind of have planned for you, and I'm just not going to get them done because, you know, things get in the way occasionally. And it's been a real pleasure having him here, but it will be nice to get back to our routine of just being by ourselves. It's you know, he has had a couple people over in different reasons, and it's been kind of just more than what we like. So we'll get back to the normal routine and get back to doing things the way we were. But I will say, him being here has improved our electricity tenfold. Carolyn's talking about trying to hook up a coffee pot now, so we'll get a coffee pot going, see if we can, because right now we just use the percolator. So if you click that up next box, take that video I was talking about. So I hope I can inspire you to get back into your routines so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.